So if we're on 17T and I'm down a couple and I look over and I see your nostrils are flared and you're spitting in the bush, you're saying do not press.
Do not press if you see me spit. Right.
Mr. Jeff Palmer, welcome to the PGA of BC podcast. I cannot stress enough how enjoyable chatting with you always is, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and exploring what makes you tick.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks, Derek. And I look forward to it as well. I found out that we were going to be live on video. I was like, okay, I
Oh God.
better
Yeah, I
comb
better
my
put something
hair.
pretty in the background.
I better comb my hair and brush my teeth and all that stuff.
Oh, you're a beauty. The and just the idea of the jobs. I mean, you think about, I mean, my first mentor talked about how you you went to a facility and you worked for minimum 4 years. Like you put in your stuff, you got to know, and because no employer past that would want someone that wasn't there for that long or longer.
Yeah, yeah.
But not the case, I don't think. And moreover, in your case, you don't even have to worry about it always being a step up or an improvement on title or anything. It's the portfolio, right?
Yeah, it's about wanting to do what you want to do or being where you want to be and making those types of decisions, right? Lifestyle and inspiration and things like that.
So on the heels of that, what would you say? Like I when I went to Jasper, I remember Jay Wilson. He gave me the insight. He says, "Listen, he's like, you're a young guy. Just go up to Jasper, live up there. You're not married. You don't have kids. So in that regard, what position have you had in your past that was the most rounded from a lifestyle experience, like the additional stuff on top of the job?"
I think for me, like it was my first head professional opportunity, going to Shanghai in 1998 and winding up at this really cool property. But not only that, just having to battle with all of the challenges that go along with living in a foreign country and not only a foreign country, but one that is like super very foreign, not even a Latin-based language. So being in Shanghai was like going to a different planet. And so from a personal growth perspective and using all the different parts of the brain, like language and just big problem solving stuff. And then being at a really great golf course, a Nicklaus signature design golf course with and being able to serve just a different clientele than I had ever worked with before. So it was really, really an amazing experience.
And it's wild. And I've been lucky enough to hear you speak a few times, and it usually comes up because it jumps off the page as something not a lot of people have done. But what was the origin thought of, hey, this is an opportunity or this is something I would like to do? Like where does that even come from?
Yeah, I think I didn't even think about it until the opportunity presented itself, and and I had to make a very quick decision in that case. But I had the opportunity to speak to a person who was there, and they said, hey, we're getting ready to open up this golf course, and we're looking for a person to do this, and would you be interested in sending in your resume? And at that point you go, sure, I'll fire in my resume. Well, you'll probably never get it, right? Or whatever thoughts go
Yeah.
through your mind. But I did and went through a couple of phone interviews. We're talking 1998, so I faxed my resume, to this office in Hong Kong, and who knows if they even received it, but they received it, and so.
Crazy.
And then after a couple phone calls, it was like, yeah, we want you to come over and we need you here in, kind of 12 days type of thing. So, didn't have a lot of time to get cold feet or to think about it, but I think certainly for me it was, this is an opportunity that if I don't go for it, then I'll regret it. And I sense that it would be a very big growth opportunity, personal growth, professional growth opportunity. And so yeah, so went for it, and it was confusing and nerve wracking and all of those things, but also super exciting. My body was producing all sorts of crazy chemicals, the adrenaline,
Yeah,
serotonin, all
yeah,
of the
yeah.
things. And so, yeah, no, it was amazing. And, getting over there too was scary. Like trying to figure stuff out in the first few weeks was pretty wild. But yeah, so I use that example as the most well-rounded, and may not have. It's not where I probably learned the most as far as golf, the golf business or the golf industry goes, but I learned the most about myself. And so from that perspective, it definitely was like the biggest sort of experience.
Yeah, and there's so much to pull from that. And I'm sitting here listening, and I've heard you tell the stories a few times, and I really do enjoy it because I think, and I'm gonna make an argument that you mentioned you didn't maybe learn the most, but I think similar to, I mean, my daughter's learning how to swim and putting her face under the water is terrifying. She absolutely hates it. And she did it the other day and it was fine, right? And so now it's no big deal. So because, similar to you going over there and realizing these big, massive culture shift, like wild opportunities that a lot of people would balk at, it just gave you, now you don't mind putting your face under the water. And so now you can put yourself in maybe some situations that you might not have otherwise, or at least approached it differently.
That's right. I mean, it's just stay in the moment, do all the little things, pick up the garbage, right? Make sure that you're just doing what needs to be done every day, and things will take care of themselves. I'm with you. I never really thought, oh, and in 3 years I'm going to be at this place and do this, and then 5 years after that I'm going to be doing this. It was more just trying to enjoy where I was at, soaking it up, and then knowing that the opportunities would kind of follow, and
Totally. Totally.
I, and I think you get to a point too where you start to go, okay, I probably will need to make a change soon because I've learned as much as I can learn in this position, and you kind of feel that organically, and then you put the intention out that maybe that's the case, and things start to happen too. So, but you're right. It's when you do something, when you make big change, change becomes more normal and less frightening, and so and in fact you can learn how to thrive on it too. So being able to go, hey, I'm the guy that can move overseas. Or I can do this. I'm not afraid of being alone. Because I know it's great personal growth. You get good at it, and so that's something. And I would, in speaking to young professionals, like one of my messages is that, yeah, do not be afraid to leave where you're at, because actually that is some of the biggest learning that you can do is that type of change. And it might not be, as you say, for, a step up or a big position, but just going to a different place, like even for the same position, can be some of the most rewarding and impactful change that you can go through.
And I could not agree more with you because it just rounds you out. And the one thing, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree, but the more clubs you work at, the more you realize they're all the same. And you might get a few clubs that have, I'm specifically comparing my time at Shaughnessy and my time at McCall Lake, which is a municipal golf club in Calgary. And yes, those are two different day to days, but at the end of the day, it's the people, I'll call it the locker room, but the people you're shoulder to shoulder with, the coworkers, the pros, the grounds team, the F&B team, and you build the relationships and you figure out how that machine puts a golf ball in the air and sells a shirt at retail, right? So it's it's pretty cool. I know there's pros I've worked for that they didn't push me to leave because I was good at the club I was at, and it made their life a lot easier. So, like raising a child, you got to love them and let them go a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes push them to move on too. And then that's I think that's the hardest part because or finding the balance between keeping somebody strong in the operation, but also pushing them to find their next opportunity. That's a tough mentoring piece, and but kind of fun, right? I mean, yeah, I look at Highland Pacific right now, man. We have a lot of talented people there, and sometimes it feels like, gosh, that there's limited growth opportunity for everybody, right? And so how do you encourage and how do you help growth for those people coming up?
Oh,
That's kind of a fun piece of the
love it.
puzzle too.
Yeah, love it. And this leads into just another, not necessarily a talking point, but something I think is important to our industry is just the passion for what you do. And I think if nothing has changed more, and actually, I would love to get your insight. 15 years ago, it was okay, you're a good golfer, you work in the back shop, you go to school, get your pro card if you want, you become, you know, bottom of the totem pole, work your way up to first assistant, head pro. Like it's just that's the linear path. There wasn't even really head teaching professionals really that long ago. If there were, they were pretty unique. Anyway, now you've got retail managers and social media managers and players and teaching and online and all these different avenues. So where you might be muddled in, get that, there's a log jam at the top. Well, the tree is so much wider for specialization or passion. And if you have, and this is the lead into the comment, is if you have the passion for whatever it is, look out. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, that's right. I think it's it's really interesting. There are so many different opportunities now in our industry, as you said, and I think people are finding those opportunities. And yeah, times have changed a lot in the last 5 years, but it's pretty exciting. And I think what sets golf professionals apart from other people or in other industries is that the love for what they do, the love for the game, the love for teaching the game, imparting knowledge on the game, and helping people enjoy the game. That is different than any other industry in the world, and so the type of people and the type of people who are very successful in the golf industry are they're typically have a real hospitality service forward backbone, and they love the game of golf, and those two attributes are certainly you know uh, inherent in a lot of the people in the PGABC. You look at and I'd shift the focus to our board of directors of the PGABC right now. I don't think I've seen such strong leadership in a long time on a board of directors, and we're seeing that being manifested in a lot of things that are happening in our association. So hats off to those folks.
I would also add to the age and the demographic of people that are on the board is so wide that you're getting a lot of unique perspectives where it was kind of a one message system, you know, ages ago. But I think of people in the industry that are just, you talk about friendly, and then there's Jeff Palmer, and you always stand out as someone I always, well, you're taller than everybody, so you're easy to pick out in a crowd and come over and chat with. But it's important to our industry that there are people like Jeff Palmer that have done incredibly well with their career, and they've just done it in the most genuine and authentic way possible, at least in my eyes. Look at your team, and you've got a wonderful head professional in Callum Ashby, who I would put in the same conversation as just some of the nicest people out there. Talk a bit about how you just navigate being, candidly, a nice guy and a leader and someone that's doing really, really great things in our industry and then outside of our industry as well.
Well, thanks for the kind words. First of all, I mean, I think like I've been so fortunate that I've grown up watching people that were nice people. My dad, I'd God rest his soul. I'd bring him as my first mentor. Just the nicest, funniest guy you ever met. The huge influence on myself and the development of my personality and all of that stuff. So, and then being around people like Don Billsborough and Bob Hogarth and people in Victoria that I got to watch as a young golfer and in my formative years, those highly impressionable adolescent years, just being around really nice people. And so that was the model for me. I come by it naturally through those mentors. And my whole philosophy is to help make people feel better, and I think what we do is super purposeful. People are coming to the golf course too, and they're getting away from a lot of stuff, right? Like they're leaving behind the pressures of their job, the pressures of whatever they're going through in their lives, and they're getting away for 4 and 5 hours. And so we are doing some of the most purposeful work and helping people with their mental health. That it means a lot. And so everybody that shows up at our facility and we try to exude this and train this with our people, is that they need to be treated like just like they're the only person that matters, and whether it be an HP Premium Club member, one of our owners, or the Cisco guy who's pulling up in his truck looking for a parking spot, like everybody needs to be treated like the most important guest. And so it doesn't matter who it is. And to that end is like making sure that we're treating each other like a guest. So, just trying to really, and in the hiring, it's like, we want to hire nice people that, that are kind and that, have some service experience, but that's not the most important thing. Really, it's all about the kindness. And I think, as a fundamental sort of perspective or lens, that kind of helps you achieve a whole bunch of different things. So thanks for saying that about me, but I would turn it back to the people that work for us, and I'm very appreciative of them. So
Yeah, so good.
and yeah, it's
The
an emotional topic, right? And
Well, like, yeah,
talking
and
about
that's what it
people.
is. And going back to it's the locker room, it's the people that you're doing it beside, right? And when you really start to treat it more than just a 9 to 5, right? And you care about the people that are coming into your shop or taking a lesson from you or working behind the counter with you. It is. Yeah, I mean, because of the buy-in. If you've got buy-in, then look out.
Yeah,
I
100%.
I really am glad that you brought up, and it's a natural progression for a conversation with Jeff Palmer, is to talk a little bit about Mood Swings Cup and men's mental health and mental health in general, and just you know, the floor is yours, because I think not only is it important, it bleeds down in not only to your team but your facility at Highland Pacific, but then also off the grass as well.
Yeah, thanks. So the mood swing golf that originated, sort of during the pandemic. I was studying at Royal Roads during the pandemic, and one of the projects that I had to decide on a project through that course of study, and in talking to a lot of people, like mental health was a really important topic, especially I mean, it's even more important now coming out of that pandemic and knowing what we know about what's happening with the technology and actually how much the world has changed through the pandemic. It's become even more important now. But we in speaking to my cohort and some other really close friends, like mental health kept coming up. So I decided to research and study that, and it's amazing what tremendous gaps there are in not only healthcare, but in really just awareness. And I studied men's mental health in particular, and there's a large body of work on that topic. and so got really interested in it, and wanted to always wanted to talk about how golf is a vehicle for wellness, and how golf, raises more funds for more charities than any other sport. So it's a known thing, but so for me in my life, wanting to use the facility and the game to help. And Mood Swing Golf was born from that. And I reached out to CMHA Victoria, the Canadian Mental Health Association, and started to just have dialogue around how we could help at Highland Pacific. And so the event was born to raise money for towards mental health, and it the money raised goes towards youth mental health. So it funds a conference called the Headstrong Summit, which is an annual conference for high school, all the high school kids in Victoria. So they come together during this conference in February every year, and they learn strategies of how to, mental health strategies and how to
Wow.
achieve mental wellness. So
I didn't
it's
know
a
that. I
it's
didn't know that was the like the funnel down to like just even the headstrong that particular event, but down to youth mental health in particular. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's really cool. We'll be I actually attended the last couple of Headstrong summits, and it's really inspiring. Like, they have speakers that talk about, and it's really people coming together and being vulnerable and talking about their challenges, and then talking about strategies of how to cope, and so it's amazing to see these young people sharing um, the way that they share. It's really, really impactful and emotional. And so, yeah, really looking forward to the sixth annual event this September, and then attending the next Headstrong Summit in February.
I mean, I try and call you out on it whenever I can because it's just one of the best um, things you do with your time. But it's not the only thing you do with your time. Listen. I don't know who writes your about Jeff Palmer on the PGA of Canada website, but they need a lovely raise. And you've done so much. I mean NGCOA and man, it's too much to read off. Do you actively take the time to do or target these things, or do you just say yes more than most?
I think I would say that, yeah, I probably say yes more than most, maybe, but again, it's about following those opportunities. Um, it started for me with the PGABC board, and wanting to serve in some capacity, and give back, and from that, other opportunities presented themselves, and I think, for me, being at Highland Pacific Golf, that created opportunities as well, because I was following in the footsteps of my predecessors who managed there, who were also active in a couple different areas. So um, saying yes is one thing, but kind of also filling a need, and serving is important too. And I certainly want to give back in that way for sure.
Ah, you beauty. The thing that also stuns me about PGA professionals is in our industry, you get to know certain people, and for someone that's been in it for a long time, they tend to have a niche. I've been known for the retail side of things for a while, and or just whatever it is. And I'm not bringing myself up to bring myself into the conversation, but to make a point about when someone has a thing, their specialty, and then you stumble onto the fact that they're also ridiculously good at something else, it drives people crazy. Jeff, you're one of the better golfers I know. So not only are you just running the show on the volunteerism and awareness of men's mental health, you put it around a golf course in a nice little tidy fashion. We played golf recently, and watching you just, I don't even know how to, I don't have enough adjectives. Maybe just butter it around a smooth uplands evening. It was a treat to watch. Talk about your golf career. It's sneaky. It's sneaky good.
And it was a joy watching you and your action
Ah,
too, Derek. That was a great night. And oh man, I still just love the game. I love to play. I mean, I'm so lucky. My office is on the lower level of an amazing driving range. I can pop out and hit 30 balls at lunch, 30 balls a day.
love it.
Kind of keeps it going. And we talked about that passion earlier. I think for me, if I'm not playing golf, I'm not the happiest me. Like I need to be around the game. I need to have the ability to hit some golf balls, work on my putting, and get out and get out play a little bit, because for me
Did you have to
that's
learn
what it's
that?
all about.
Do you know what I mean? Did you have to like, did you stumble a little bit and figure out into it that you're like, geez, man, I'm not good, and it's because I'm not playing.
Well, and it's easy not to play. I think
Yeah.
like it's like it's a maybe even it's a real serious time management piece for a lot of us, because we're so busy in the operation and in life that it's the easiest thing to go. Okay, well, I'm not making time for that because I got so much other stuff going on. But so I mean, I've been lucky. I think I've just always had opportunities as well to manage my schedule to play. So whatever position I've been in, I've always had the freedom and the trust of people I worked for to manage to manage the operation how we needed to, and so that's afforded me some opportunities to play as well. So I feel lucky with for having the employment that I've had to be able to do it.
It's, Laura Bay, the 2007 World Telus Skins game.
Yeah, that was a
How
cool
was that?
experience. Yeah, that was
How was that?
amazing.
Who was there?
It was they had five players that year. It was Stephen Ames, Jeff Ogilvy, Colin Montgomery, uh, John Daly, and Retief Goosen.
It was, oh yeah, yeah, okay.
So like players that were big in the early aughts, and it was amazing. I mean, there was so many people there. It was a crazy week. We worked with IMG and
Yep.
Interwest Golf to put that event on, and I thought I had thought of everything, but it was
Yeah.
in the end, it was like, again, it was the little things, right? It was the garbage. Like I had no
Oh, no doubt.
idea there would be that much garbage. And so I remember on the fly having to, this is a memory that has just popped into my head, it was a nightmare at the time. I mean, the seagulls were circling. It was amazing. But yeah, we had to scramble to get a third party, contractor to come in and do some emergency garbage runs for us. But what a
Oh,
great
yeah.
experience. Like it was an amazing week. Um, we had our partners from Weston Trillium House in the Village at Blue, and a lot of different stakeholders. That was my real first experience of working with multiple stakeholders
Mm.
on an event and on a project. We had the town of Blue Mountains involved. We had the Village at Blue Association involved, Interwest, and our partners at Laura Bay, and it was amazing. So having to execute town halls in advance of the event to get everybody on the same page, it was a really really amazing experience. It was
So
cool.
good. I remember the Skins game up at Predator. Oh, I didn't work there when they ran it, but it was a few years after the fact. And those events are so good. And I wish, you know what I would like to see come back around is the Shell Wonderful World of Golf.
Right?
You remember those? Like, how good
Oh,
would
love
that be? And
those.
I don't. Maybe it's just nostalgia for me remembering the. God, they were two-player matches, but they were walk and talks, right? You could mic them all up, and you could do these things. God, that would be. I mean, now with YouTube, I think there's no real excuse, and it's kind of going on out there anyways.
Yeah, why
But
wouldn't we
if
get Lindsay and Gordy to have a match
oh
at the
God,
right and just mic them up and have some fun with it?
sure,
That would be great.
yeah, yeah, and get Mr. Bicknell to narrate it or
Oh, perfect.
provide his
He'd do a
feedback.
better job than Ben Wright.
So good. Yeah, man. So Highland Pacific Golf Club. I don't want to chat with you without talking to you about um the world's friendliest golf course, but more importantly, the most inviting environment. When I talk to people now, and golf on Vancouver Island and South Island has changed quite a bit over the years. And don't worry, I'm going to work Glen Meadows into this somehow. I always find a way.
I think we should.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've lost more than we've gained over the years, and when someone's visiting me and they say, "Hey, where should we go play?" There's a lot of great suggestions, but Highland is always on that list, always, right? And I think that has a lot to do with a playable golf course, but also something that can host big events, and just the club in general, a great range, great owners, just it ticks a lot of boxes. And I think you have one of the showstopper clubs in all of BC, if not Canada.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I agree. I couldn't be more proud to be there. It's such a well constructed, well built golf course. The owners really took their time with the construction of it. So when we talk about drainage and how it holds up against 70,000 rounds, it does really well because of the care that the owners took, and so really proud of the property, and continuously learning about the property. We've got some great knowledge keepers, people that have been with us for a long time, and that's really important, and so it helps us maintain it to a high standard, and hats off to our grounds crew. I mean, they have been just so, talk about passionate too, and we have some really passionate people that work for us on the grounds crew, and they care about the experience for the golfer. So that's really cool. And I think, so from a core golf perspective, it offers a lot, but you kind of touched on it. It's also very approachable. So like one of our goals, and we talk about this in our management meetings and to our staff, is that we want to lower the barrier to entry. We want people to feel really comfortable as soon as they arrive. Like, our messaging is, you don't have to be a golfer to show up. Come for the first time, grab some clubs on the lower level, try to hit the tower, and just have fun, right? And I think, again, we've got great young people like Callum and Robert, who is our cafe manager. They've teamed up for and put on this Friday Night Lights thing where it's fun. There's music playing. We've got service, food and beverage service out to the range. It's a younger demographic that comes. It's a non-core demographic that comes out and has fun with it. This is the type of thing that we're really wanting to get across to people, is that it's not a party. It's not out of control, but it is a fun place to come and enjoy a night with your family or your friends, and to learn about the game a little bit. And I think our academy is the programming is centered around that too. It's about getting new people into the game. Cooper is our junior golf leader, so there's just so many great things happening around introducing the game and helping people enjoy the game, that I think that really helps fuel the energy at the golf course.
The idea of giving access to the sport, in my opinion, is partially correct. The idea is to give comfortable access, right? And you
Yeah,
don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on just because you put on a collared shirt, or don't put, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
forget it. Just show up. Just show up, have a good time. And if this is what you're into, then show up on Friday nights. It's curated specifically to hang out. And listen, it's the all-encompassing sport, but each experience can be different and tick a different box. Friday Night Lights, in my opinion, is one of the best things on Vancouver Island for golf, period.
Yeah, and we're seeing that in just the vibe, like the attendance and the vibe, and I've walked that line, those range lines on Friday nights, and it's a really relaxed atmosphere, and people are
Beautiful.
truly
Beautiful.
enjoying it, and it's it gives me a lot of satisfaction, because again, it fills that that purposeful mission, you know, allowing people the space to come in and do something different is pretty special.
Super cool. All right. So, without further ado, what is your favorite golf hole at Glen Meadows Golf and Country Club?
Oh, oh man. Gosh, there's so many good ones. I mean, I
See, that's the only answer. Just there's so many
there's
beautiful
so many good ones. I mean, I think what's the par three on the back? Was it 14 over the water?
15.
15.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
14 had the water
great
on the
great
left
hole.
with that tree right there.
When the fountain was going there, that was a pretty cool hole. Like you could either make a birdie late in the round to finish atop of the world
Yeah.
junior optimist
Yeah,
leaderboard,
that's
or
right.
suck it back into the pond, right? So
We used to. So okay, so 15. That's all. So how that golf course was watered or was predominantly on Rays Creek was to the left of 10T, and that lake, we'll call it a lake, but that was all the pump station was right there,
that's right.
next to 15 T box. Anyway, so it's all just funneled down water. It's not filtered. It's not anything. It's disgusting. But when we were playing in the evenings, our KP contest on 15 was whoever was the furthest had to swim to the other side of that lake and back. And in this at the start of the summer, it wasn't too bad because there was a lot of water in there. But as the water got lower, it
Just
was
swamp
like
thing.
pretty much there was a lot of things touching your feet, and it was a nightmare. So you want to talk about pressure on hitting a
Yeah,
green and
yeah.
not even being the closest, just don't be the furthest. That was that's high pressure.
That's awesome.
I have some rapid fire questions for you,
Okay.
and they are as follows. Your favorite hole at Highland Pacific Golf?
Six Highland,
Oof. Yep.
especially looking back towards the tee from the
Yeah.
green.
One golf course you'd love to play but have not yet played, and you can't say Augusta.
Riviera.
Riviera. What makes you say that?
You know what? Just a lot of history and Hogan's Alley. I
Mm,
think Riviera, but watching Nicklaus and Sutton in the early '80s when I was a kid battle it out at the PGA Championship there,
cool.
and the bunker, the bunker in the middle of the green, kind of a cool feature, and yeah, just good West Coast classic
Yeah,
golf
cool.
course.
Good call out. Your go-to golf shot under pressure, and the context is this. It's to win an event or something, and you've got to hit a fairway. You've got to hit it close. You've got a bunker shot. You've got 8 feet for a birdie. What shot would you love to have in a pressure situation?
Oh, guaranteed fade. Just that
Yeah.
guaranteed cut shot under pressure. So not the quick hook.
Okay. Very fair. Very fair. Which yeah, okay. I like that. Little butter fade
Yeah.
gets it into play. Okay. Beyond golf, what is a hidden talent or hobby that you enjoy or have,
Uh,
I guess?
I do like to write. So I've always been interested in creative writing, and I loved going back to school because there's a lot of writing involved. And so I would say I would, I never claim I'm good at anything, but I have interests. Let's put it that way. So I do enjoy the writing. During the COVID, I took up guitar and terrible at that, but really enjoy it. Kind of gets you out of it gets you again. It's like escape, right? It's like going golf, and you're in the moment when you're trying to figure out the G to C to
Yeah,
E.
and you're looking at your fingers like, why won't you do what I'm trying to tell you to do?
Totally, totally.
Good for you. I like that. Well, and two things with guitar. I mean, typically, if the guitar is ever coming out and you have an audience, they've probably got half a dozen to a dozen beverages in them, so they're not listening too sternly, anyways. And I do remember hearing an interview from Flea Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he talked about when he first figured out he knew he loved music because he was learning to play guitar, and he would drool sometimes on the guitar, right? Because he would forget to swallow. He was so
Just
focused.
so into it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
So in the act, right? In the moment. And I think
yep,
golf is like that too, right?
yep,
When you're having a round, or if you're in the flow state, you know, in the zone, we've experienced it. All of us have experienced it, albeit briefly. Um, it's completely lose track of what's going on, like swallowing, I
totally.
guess.
That's right. I've seen Tim Wilson drool over a 5 foot putt.
You know, that flea story is really interesting. Like I've read that there's some key characteristics of being in flow state. Your body's producing a lot of adrenaline, a lot of serotonin, and so like
Right.
flared nostrils is one, and then heavy secretion, so a lot of saliva. And you know,
Really?
we see a lot of golfers are in the heat of the moment. They're, you know, you'll see people on TV spitting. People,
Yeah.
I can't believe that guy just spat. But it's
Yeah.
part of being in that zone where your body's just producing all this saliva
Oh.
and all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. Pretty interesting little factoid about flow state.
So if we're on 17T and I'm down a couple and I look over and I see your nostrils are flared and you're spitting in the bush, you're saying do not press.
Do not press if you see me spit.
Deal. Okay. I'm adding that to my notebook. The NGCOA event I was at 2 months ago, I was with Callum, and the round reports they were showing as they do, right? But they did a historical for BC from I think it was 10 years, 2015 to 2025 or whatever it is. And it was, you know, it's like a little up, down, but all within this little belt. And then COVID, choo, it shoots up because I think the average round was 25,000. I think maybe this could be national. This is national, 25,000 rounds. And then this just spike happens and it goes up to 33, 34, something like that. But what happened is it didn't just like go down and then whatever. It just went up and now it's doing that watermark just went up 25%, which is mind blowing. And that's a demand on the industry, but it's a demand on the facilities and grass and just everything. And this is the longest way I can lead into indoor golf and golf simulators and tying it all back to
Yes.
fulfilling the need and servicing the need. And
Fastest
y-
growing part of our industry as well.
yes,
There's
sir.
more, you know, a higher percentage of participation in that segment than any other segment. So it's,
Yep.
you know, there's a need there, and because what do you do when it gets dark, right? Like you've got to, and you know, it's again, and talk about lowering the barrier of entry and
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
more approachable, right? It fills a
Yep.
lot of those needs. So I'll turn it over to you, Derek, and talk about
Yeah.
indoor
I
golf.
mean, here. Now, one cool thing about just indoor golf and that again, it's the comfort of access and creating these new things like TGL. I get asked a question a lot. What do you think of TGL? How does this? Was it cool? Was it this? I said just almost ignore the first year because this it was the tip of the spear. They had to do it to start it. But check out season 2 and let's see where because it'll tell you real quick where they see the industry going, what was good, what was bad, and how they rework it. That when we see season 2, they've now had a whole year to rework. I mean, the software, the technology is almost irrelevant. It's mostly just around like experience and event and all this kind of stuff, and only going to catapult it. Like I'm not annoyed, but I'm dumbfounded how they didn't have like a real time KP contest where the guys would come in and warm up beforehand, and they would have like a little KP, and then you could go down to your little golf sim or wherever down the road, and you could see if you could, you know, slide one inside a 6 feet to beat Tiger or whatever it is. Stuff like that, right? Getting a little
Yeah.
creative outside the box. Do you have
What
any?
what, what I really
Go for
liked
it.
about it was the way the players interacted with one
Yeah,
another. Like you don't
yeah,
see that in a normal tour event. So it was very collegial, and I loved that part of it. You got to see more of the personality of the players come out
yeah, yeah,
than you would in a normal tour event. So
yeah. And then actually, I don't know if you saw this recently, but Jack did an interview somewhere talking about his dislike for the walk and talks while guys are playing on tour, right? Where they'll put
oh
the headphones in and while they're walking down the fairway to their shot. And he wasn't, aggressively critical, but he's like, listen, like, these guys are at work. Like, let from first tee to 18th green, like let them do their thing. Like, don't try and pull them out of the zone. So, and I don't
yeah,
disagree
fair
with him
enough. Yeah,
so much. But now going back to it, like, okay, well then if not that, then let's give them something else to
yeah,
play
yeah.
around with, right? And show that human side of the game. Here's the scenario. My wife Jillian has come to you. She's fed up with my golf instruction. She is a marginally decent golfer. She hits it about 80 yards and loses the ball and loses her mind. What is the one swing tip? What is the one swing thought without even seeing her swing that you would impart on her or any new golfer out there?
Um, I would get them to try to feel that they're swinging the end of the shaft or the end of the shaft of the club head,
Mm-hmm.
not at the ball, but towards the target.
Whoa.
So forget about the ball, but and think about the end of the club and just moving it, swinging it in a motion towards the target. So, ball gets in the way, kind of stuff. I once gave a lesson to a girl who worked, or she wrote for it was Calgary Herald, I think it's called, and she came out to. I was at Olympic View at the time. She came out. She was doing a story about starting golf, and basically the drill I had her make was to swing the club and actually let go of the club and throw it towards
Oh,
the target. Of course, the first couple went backwards over the roof
sure
of
they
the
do.
academy building, but because there you go, right? Like you've got to learn how to let go
Mm-hmm.
and move towards the target to be able to get that feel. And she wrote this article titled "How I Threw My Clubs and Got Better," and so it
Mm.
was kind of a fun piece. But that's a great drill too to get people feeling that they're actually swinging the club towards the target instead of at the golf ball.
The One of my fondest memories from Shaughnessy is an event that we did. They still do called Roundup, and it's hee haw, right? Like there's hay bales everywhere, and you dress up, and it's a ton of fun. But one I think we only did it one time, and it was club toss, right? And you could basically it was like javelin, like you could take a run at it, but there was a line you couldn't go past the line. And every single person, nobody threw it the first time. You got like two or three throws. Nobody threw it in the direction they wanted to the first time. Nobody, right? There was a lot of them were like pull, like almost going behind them. Like it was this, like you just couldn't release it at the right
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
But man, I remember playing great golf after because then I got, you're loading up really nicely. Tim Wilson was quite good at it too. But you would fire it, but nobody would get it where they wanted to the first time. So what an education in
H-
releasing the club or
yeah.
just
How to
getting
move,
it down
and
that line.
that's right. Yeah,
Wow.
it is. I mean, and when you're like the throwing, every innately everybody's body knows how to do that,
Sure.
and so when you're trying to throw, your body's moving a little bit more naturally than it would if you're trying to hit a golf ball, and
Totally.
so it helps.
I like that. The saying I heard years ago was it's a swing, not a hit. And so that kind of
Yeah.
gives it a little bit of a context to a golf swing. It has been a real pleasure. I genuinely don't want it to end. I could sit here all afternoon and chat with you. You have more insights into the industry than almost anybody I know. And it's been a real pleasure chatting with you.
I can't tell you what a honor and privilege it's been to spend the hour with you, Derek. Thanks so much, and thanks for having me. You are an excellent host, man. You
Ah,
have great chops, and so man, what a treat! And I look forward to our next round of golf.
yeah, isn't that the truth? And now I've got so, I mean, this whole thing was just a disguise to me to figure out how to get some get $5 bills out of your pocket. On the back nine. I really do appreciate it. Jeff, I look forward to your season, following you playing and just watching all the great things coming out of Highland Pacific and anything that your fingertips touch.
Look forward to seeing you soon, Derek. Thanks.